Good morning, guys. We're going to be looking at converting decimals and fractions to percentages. Most of the time this can be used via a calculator, but we'll be showing non-calculator methods as well. So let's start off by looking at the decimal 0.5. Most likely you might recognize already that that's going to be 50%. But how do we know it's 50%? Well, obviously 0.5 is a half, and a half of 100% is 50%. But any decimal, any fraction to a percentage, we simply need to times by 100. That's the really big key thing when going from a decimal or a fraction to a percentage. So all I'm actually doing is doing 0.5 times 100. Now, without a calculator, the easiest way of that is to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Now, there's nothing there, so we can put a 0, and now it makes 50, which is obviously the 50%. In time, you'll recognize that if we put a 0 there, the 2 decimal places, that's what the percentage will be. Again, that's because I moved the decimal point twice and it makes the number. So what about something like 0.075? What would that be, do you think, as a percentage? Well, again, if you have a calculator, you can just put in 0.075 and you can times it by 100. Otherwise, without the calculator, you can move the decimal point 2 places to the right and it makes 7.5. So it's 7.5%. Likewise, remember I said about the two numbers? That's 7%, I've got the 5 there, so it's just 7.5%. Pretty straightforward, right? What about a number like this? 2.3. What do you think that would be as a percentage? Okay, well, likewise, if you've got a calculator, let's just times it by 100. Alternatively, let's move the decimal point 2 times to the right. So if I do that, we're going to have 1, 2. It sits here, a 0 goes there. It equals 230%. Pretty easy, hey? Okay, so the next question we're going to look at, number 4, is going to be looking at converting a fraction to a percentage. Slightly different. So if let's, for example, we're going to convert 2/5 as to a percentage. Now, like I said, if you had a calculator, you can simply times it by 100. Okay, and that is going to make it to be 40%. So that's quite easy again with a calculator. But how might we do this without a calculator? Well, there are lots of different ways. First of all, I could just put times it by 100 over 1. 2 times 100 equals 200. 5 times 1 is 5. And 200 divided by 5, well, that equals 40. So my 40%. Some people, however, recognize, and you might remember, any percentage as a fraction is over 100. So you might think, well, hold on, if I've got 2 over 5, can I change that by something to make it over 100? Well, 5 times 20 is 100, so 2 times 20 is 40, therefore making it 40%. So there are lots of different ways that you can actually turn fractions into a percentage. But again, with a calculator, guys, just simply times it by 100. That's the easiest possible way. So what about the next couple of questions? So that was, hold on, that was question 4. So let's do question 5. Let's convert to, let's say, tenths. And then I'll ask you to do 5, let's say, 20ths. And then the last one we'll do 1/3. Okay, so the first one, again, you've got lots of different ways. I'm going to do it without a calculator this time. I'm just going to make it 20 over 100, 20%. How easy is that, right? The next one, 5 over 20. Well, if I times the bottom by 5, the top by 5, we make 25 out of 100, which is now just 25%. But again, with both those questions, on a calculator, if you have a calculator, you can just do 2/10 times 100, or you could do 5/20 times 100, and both times you'll get those same answers again. What about the next one? Because the next one's a bit more challenging. Without a calculator, it's going to be quite challenging because 3 does not go into 100. So how could we do that? Well, I'm going to times it by 100 over 1, which makes it 100 divided by 3. Now, obviously, with a calculator, I would just do 1/3 times 100, and I've got my answer. Some of you might actually know what that is as a percentage anyway, and hopefully you probably do. But without a calculator, what I'm going to actually do is this, is see how many times 3 goes into 100. Well, 3 doesn't go into 1, but 3 goes into 10 3 times, with 1 left over. 3 goes into 10 3 times, with 1 left over. So I'm going to put a point and a 0 there. So now it becomes 0.10. 3 goes into 10 3 times, with 1 left over. You can see every single time I'm going to do that, it's just going to be the same number, which makes it 33.3% recurring, or 33 1/3%. Okay, so 2 different ways you could do that without the calculator, but certainly with a calculator, I would just be writing in 1/3 times 100 equals my answers there. So again, pretty easy stuff to do, guys. Often your calculator will do it really quickly, but if you don't have that, obviously choose the non-calculator methods. Hope this made sense. Have a great day.